Gone are the beautiful feast days. Lent is over, the Easter season over, Ascension and Pentecost over, Trinity and Corpus Christi recent memories. Today you see the priest in the usual green-colored vestments. For we have now entered the time that in recent years has been given the unfortunate name of ordinary time. But I ask you, what is so ordinary about this time? It is in ordinary time that we hear about the immense love of God for each one of us. What is ordinary about the love of God? It is in ordinary time that we hear the beautiful Sermon on the Mount with the Beatitudes, the most famous words of wisdom in the world. What is ordinary about this wisdom? It is in this time that we hear of the famous miracles, turning water into wine, curing the blind and the lame and the sick and the lepers, raising people from the dead. Nothing ordinary about any of that. What is ordinary? What is extraordinary? Who is an extraordinary person and who is an ordinary person? When we watch a royal wedding or a presidential inauguration, we see gathered together many extraordinary people from all over the world, at least people who think they are extraordinary. There we see government officials, high-born individuals, dignitaries, movie stars, rich people, and celebrities of every rank. And millions of people watch the television just to catch a glimpse of some of the celebrities, some of those people they consider to be extraordinary. Some people love to collect autographs from movie stars or from politicians or from sports figures. Autographs are wonderful to have, something like the rather bizarre Catholic custom of collecting relics. Even politicians themselves like to collect each other's autographs. And back in the 60s, there was a politician by the name of Barry Goldwater, senator from Arizona. Besides being in politics, he used to love to use his camera and take pictures, and he was pretty good at it. Once, he took a picture of his rival, President Kennedy, and then sent it to him, asking the president to autograph it. The president obliged and signed the photograph with the following inscription: "To Barry Goldwater, whom I urge to follow that career in which he has shown so much talent, photography." From his friend, John Kennedy. I'm not so sure the senator was pleased at that inscription. Sometimes we think our autograph is worth more than it really is. There was another time when President Herbert Hoover was in office. Like every president, he used to receive requests for his autograph. Someone wrote to him and asked him to autograph 3 pieces of paper that he sent along. Well, at first, the president was delighted that someone would actually want 3 copies of his signature. But then he discovered the reason the person wanted them. He wanted 1 autograph for himself, but the other 2 he needed because it took 2 autographs of President Hoover to trade for 1 autograph of Babe Ruth. And I'm not so sure the president was so delighted at that news. Sometimes we think we are more extraordinary than we actually are. And sometimes we think we are more ordinary than we actually are. There was a time when the most famous person in the world was an actor of the silent screen by the name of Charlie Chaplin. He was so famous that one time when he visited his native London, during his 2-day visit there, he received 23,000 letters. That's more than I get. Well, one day in Monte Carlo, there was a Charlie Chaplin look-alike contest. Charlie Chaplin himself happened to be in Monte Carlo on that day, and he thought, just for fun, I'm going to enter that contest. So he entered the Charlie Chaplin look-alike contest secretly and placed third. Sometimes we think we are more popular than we actually are. Who is an extraordinary person? Who is an ordinary person? During my own career, I have buried many thousands of people, but never once have I buried an ordinary person. Because when you speak to the family at that time, you discover so many extraordinary things about every individual. Sometimes those extraordinary characteristics aren't even realized until the person is no longer here with us. We are all extraordinary people, and God loves each and every one of us in a special way, in an extraordinary way. God loves me like God loves no one else. And God loves you in a very, very particular way. We are all extraordinary because we are all created by and loved by an extraordinary God, not as a nameless, faceless mass of humanity, but as the unique, extraordinary individuals we are. This ordinary time which we have now entered demands extraordinary people. It takes an extraordinary person to wake up in the morning and recognize the miraculous nature of the new day. It takes an extraordinary person to go out early in the morning, watch the sun rise up in all its splendor, and see a divine imagination in all that. It takes an extraordinary person to look at the night sky with all those beautiful lights up there and recognize them for the wonders they are. It takes an extraordinary person to look at a family of 10 children and be able to love each one in a very special way as God loves each of us. It takes an extraordinary person to look at the ordinary and see the extraordinary. It takes an extraordinary person to look at the smile and the tears on the face of the neighbor and see the face of God.